Hello, and welcome to a conversation with Rad. And I am your host, Radcliffe. And today, we'll be diving into some captivating discussion. We hope every episode will bring you fresh insights, inspiring stories, and candid conversation. In today's conversation, we're going to dive into a few things: lifelong friendship, career journeys, connections that shape our lives, and a trip down memory lane. Today, our guest is Anthony Scott, better known as Rambo. Tony has, you know, um, a resilient journey that we're going to dive into today and talk about. Tony has some compelling stories of growth and perseverance. Tony was born in London to Jamaican parents, moved to Brooklyn at a certain age, and I'm going to get into those conversations with Rambo. Sorry, I might be going between Tony and Rambo, so it is the same person. So we all, just so everybody knows that I'm talking about the same person. Tony went to school in Brooklyn, right? At the age of 14. He then left, went to the Marine Corps. And again, some of these things he's going to talk about himself because I'm going to ask some question about that. And where our path crossed was at Buffalo State University, where he furthered his education. So there is a story to be told about Tony, and I'm sure he's going to share with the audience where that Rambo came from. So I'm not going to spoil it for him, and I'm going to let him talk about that. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Rambo, our guest, one of the founding members of the BAR, the Black Alumni Reunion Association, that started back from the friendship in Buffalo. Um, hey, Rambo, welcome.
Thank you, Brad. I appreciate it.
And thank you for taking the time, to lend your voice to this podcast that we're having. There's, as I said, there's friendship, there's brotherhood, and there's so many things, compelling things that kind of brought us and the rest of the group together. There's a group of about, say, 14, 15, you know brothers that stand the test of time from Buffalo to now. So let's start with tell us where you're calling in from.
Well, first off, I just want to say this before we start off. I just want to say thank you, Rad, for doing this. It's really refreshing. I'm glad that you're doing this, and I want to say sympathize to Frank. I listened to his conversation, and I could relate to a lot of things that brother said. So, with that said, I just want to give that compliment out there. Well, I'm calling in from Bed-Stuy, in Brooklyn, New York. Too bad I'm not there with you doing Shay having some cotton for us, but it's all good though, bro. So anyway, I'm calling from Bed-Stuy,
As I
Brooklyn, New York.
as I said to everyone, the country of Brooklyn, because Brooklyn
Yes.
itself has its own ecosystem when it comes to characters and stuff like that. So definitely, you know, um, it's a great thing to be talking to you from Brooklyn. I mean, we're local, not in the same exact spot, but we're local, proximity of a few minutes away, or like half hour away. But yeah, Brooklyn has its own ecosystems. Thank you for coming in from there. So you know let's dive into tell the our audience, our friends, a little bit about yourself, probably you know during your journey, some expected unexpected stories that you've picked up during a journey from Buffalo, or you can go back even you know coming here, because you said you were born in London from parents of, Jamaican descent background, and came to the country of Brooklyn, which I'm going to reference for a while. So yeah, let's do that. Let's kind of dive into that just a little bit. Just tell the audience just a little bit about yourself, a little, few fun facts about yourself.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I came here. As a matter of fact, I'm wearing my shirt right now. I picked up in Hawaii. It's honorable because it's a Pan Am.
You
Huh?
can't see it. You have to pan down the thing a little bit. You want to see the shirt.
Pan Am.
There we go. There we go.
Anyway, it's honorable to, you know what? I was looking for this shirt for the longest and I finally found it. It was under some blankets. Anyway, long story short, I came to America, well, to New York City with my father. And in 1977, when I was 14, but 3 months before the blackout of 1977. I thought the world was ending. That big blackout of 1977. I was like, wow, we're in New York. I'm a 14-year-old. And it's like, whoa, was like the end of the world going on up in here. But that was an episode of my life. So I went to Lefferts Junior High School, and from there, I stayed there for about a semester. Then went to Rasmus High School.
Let's pause there for a second because I did not know we were alum of Erasmus.
Oh, okay, yeah,
So, you know, up to Erasmus.
yeah, yeah. I went to Rasmus for a minute, for like about a semester. Then we moved down to Canarsie to Glenwood Projects, and ended up going to South Shore High School. And went to South Shore High School, graduated from there. Then I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do, but I ended up going to BMCC, Borough of Manhattan Community College. I didn't like it. I hated it because at that time they didn't have like a set campus. They had like buses taking you from school to classes, and it was like I just wasn't feeling it. I just didn't really fit in there. So one day I was down by Flatbush Avenue, and I saw a Marine recruiting station, and I saw this poster of this Marine, just one guy by himself.
Was it Uncle Sam or was it Marine?
No, 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 it was Uncle. It was a Marine. They're trying to get you in there. It was in camouflage, had an M16, going down a river raft. And it wasn't like in America. It was like in some tropical jungle, like in the Philippines or somewhere. And it's just like, I'm just looking at this picture. I was like picturing myself being in that river raft, just going on a mission or something. And they always said the Marines are the hardest ones, to join. So I wanted to go into the toughest military organization that I wanted to, because at that time I was like about 18, 19. I wanted to gain a sense of independence. And my father was happy for me to go because he's always telling me, like, if you go with the Marines, they can help you with housing. Because that's one thing my father did, bless his heart, was always pushing me, telling me, um, to buy a house, to buy a house. I'm thinking like, talking about one family, two family house, but he always was pushing that on me. And so he said, well, they give you these vouchers and this and that. When you get out, you'll be able to buy a house. So he's always pushing that. But he was happy for me to go to find my independence, because that's one thing my father always taught me. Always have to, always have independent, be independent upon yourself, no depend on nobody, and do what you have to do for yourself. Because ain't nobody gonna do it for you but you. And he always pushed me on that level. And much respect. So that's why then I joined the Marines. I had a great time. Had a great time in the Marines. But I was only doing 4 years. I wasn't trying to make this no career situation. I just needed to get some
It was a career.
independent.
It
No,
wasn't
I
a
wasn't. No, 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 no. I had to get up out of there. I did my time. I saw what was going on. It's okay. You gave me 3 cuts in the meal. We good. You was able to let me see the world. Let me see Japan. And the only thing I had was that I didn't go on a float to go to Philippines or Korea and so forth, because that would have been another adventure. Anyway, but I had a good time though. And then after I left the Marines, my cousin was going to Buff State. Frankie, he was on the soccer team,
okay.
and I was on the soccer team with him at South Shore, so you know how good I was. So he spoke to Mr. Tassi about bringing me up, because when I came to the Marines, I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do. So he's the one that encouraged me to come to Buff State. He said, join the soccer team, whatever, whatever. But they had to find a way to get me in there. So they got me in there through the EOP program.
That's a great program, man.
Yeah,
That's a
of
great
course.
program. Many of us went through that program.
Right. So that's how I got there.
Equal opportunity program or educate. What was it? EOP stands for again? One of those things, right? We'll make sure we look that up. But it was a program for people who couldn't afford colleges and universities, and it allows us to
Right.
further our education. So that's definitely a great thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's how I got in to the EOP program. And that's how I got to Buff State. But unfortunately, a tragedy happened to my cousin Frankie, because when he was playing soccer up there, he died on the soccer field. I'm not too sure if Frank knew who he is, but Tennyson knew who he was. And that's how I started my relationship with Tennyson, was through Frankie.
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
we're gonna touch on some, go down memory
Yeah.
lane as well. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, sorry to hear that your
Yeah.
cousin, passed away on the soccer field.
Yeah. At Buff State.
But you said your cousin knew how good you were. Were you wearing number 10 on your back?
We're number 9.
That's when recruiters come looking for you. Yeah, I want to know what the numbers were. So
Yeah, nice striker.
number nine, the striker. So that's good, man. And it is amazing, that you can recall, some of those stories that got you there, and you touched on Tennyson, that you guys met there and stuff like that, and I'm sure there was, other members of the group that you guys kind of met there. So you came there in what, the 85, 86?
85, 86.
Okay.
Yeah, 85, 86. Yeah, I came in like when Frank was talking about that summer session. I was at there for the summer to
Oh,
Karim.
definitely.
Right, exactly. That's how I got to met Seth, Trevor. I don't know if there was the. I know Trevor was an RA.
Was he?
Right. Yeah, yeah, because he wasn't in the program. He was already there.
Listen, so just let me throw this out. Some of these brothers might be under witness protection, so be careful how you talk about it. So I I just don't want the feds to show up at their doors. You know, so you
Yeah, Claudel, Uki, yeah, Jamal, Chev. Yeah, because like I was in part of that program with them, and yeah,
okay? So the summer program was definitely a great entry into college life because it does
yes,
give
yes, of
that
course.
right.
Of course, and I just want to re-emphasize what Frank has said, that it was a good thing to go through that, because then you already knew the people once semester started, so you didn't feel like you were just alone in the waters in the ocean, and you're like, who the hell's this person? Or you have to make friends. You already made established friendship through that summer program that we all went to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and that was
it kind of teaches you, not just friends, but it kind of expose you to some of the things you'll go through, as a college student, right?
yes, of course, and then plus another thing I had to my advantage is I came a little bit older because I was in the Marine Corps already, so I spent time on my own already, so I know how it was to like be on my own.
Nice. So
You know
you
what I'm saying? Yeah, I
definitely
was
had
in the Marine Corps for 4 years
well,
before I came to New State.
you definitely had an advantage over a lot of people then because you got, you know, introduced to things that other people didn't because again, a lot of us leave high school and came straight to college and EO program, but coming from the Marine Corps, you're already hardened up. And I'm assuming because they said people are gonna, we want to find out where the name Rambo came from. So since you touched on the Marine Corps, please enlighten us. And
Okay. Okay, yeah. So what happened was that they was going on this. They said they're going to this place called Whisper Pine, and it's like out there in the wilderness, right? Out there in the wilderness. So once I heard out there in the wilderness and this and that, my mind just went into military, frame of my military, like wilderness. We out there, like we can get there by ourselves. God forbid if anything was happening, what's gonna happen? So I said, okay, so let me get prepared for this. So I went back to my room and had some camouflage fatigues that I had from the military, and I got all dressed up in my the t-shirt camouflage, my shorts are camouflage, and I was kind of running late, and I was running for that bus. It's like, and then I believe it was Fenton was on the bus. He goes, "Oh, that's Rambo." I didn't see me running for the bus. I think Fenton was the one that gave me that name Rambo because he's the one who said like, "Damn, that's what like Rambo." And I the bus, and that's how the name stuck, Rambo. I was like, okay, I go with it. No harm, no foul. Kind of liked it. Like, yeah, yeah, I'll be Rambo.
so okay, so and that name stuck,
Yeah,
not a bad thing. I mean, hey, you
yeah,
went there and fatigue and stuff like that. And again,
yeah.
in the early days of for us in school, just as a freshman,
Mhm.
we're looking to bring in fatigue and stuff like that. You are
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny too. Even when I got there, I kind of started giving away and this and that. I was kind of tired of it. I was like, oh, okay. But then now it's like it all comes back into style now, doesn't it? Later on, fatigue. I mean,
no,
listen, even when I grew up in Glenwood Projects and I came from London and my name was Tony, they gave me that nickname. My name was Tony London back then. Tony London. So I always had nicknames.
mhm.
Tony London, Rambo. They all know it. Oh, Tony London? I was like, yeah. That's it, funny. I'll give people nicknames.
So are you do you think you exude that where people just always want to give you nicknames? It's like as they see you, they're like, okay, that person look like a Rambo. This person is. What make them want to just throw nicknames at you like that?
I guess so they can remember me.
Very memorable.
Yeah, exactly. You remember Rambo?
All right. So, forgive me because as we touch on certain things, I may bring up certain subjects and so on, but we'll
Yeah.
go back, and forth on certain things. Looking back like in 85 and through 80 from 85 through um your graduation, are there any early memories, you can remember that brought you and the group together, the group of friends that I'm talking about, not John Doe out there or anything like that, but this set of brothers, that we talk about so eloquently.
Yeah, yeah, I would say. I mean, my father had passed away in 1985, and then when I graduated, I ain't had nobody come up there to be with me, and the only person that I remember vividly, just celebrating our graduation was with Seth, his mother, and his wife at the time, right? Which was they wasn't married then, and it was
Yeah,
just a memorable moment, just spending time with them.
yeah, yeah.
And also, I won't say John Doe. They was part of the group too, because I was living on Elmwood, and I had left the campus, and I was staying with I don't know if you remember Tracy and Eric. I was living with them on Elmwood
Eric
Avenue.
Eric Everett, is it?
The last name is I know light skin. Yeah, I heard he became a
I
trooper,
think I think it's no, he came a officer. Yeah.
a trooper,
Okay.
a state
um
trooper, and Tracy Lanier.
yeah, I think it's I
Oh,
believe
okay, yeah, yeah.
he
Well, I
was
lived
staying with them for a bit down Elmwood.
Yeah, yeah, I was with them, living with them, and then I had to try and find money to pay my rent and all that stuff. And so I was talking to Fedna, and Fedna was the one that introduced me to Welly Well. I said, "What? Welly Well? What the hell is Welly Well?" He said, "You go down to this place, bro. I'll never forget that. You go down there with lick on your breath, looking like a bum, and say you ain't got no money." I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, that's our reparations." I said, "Reparations? Yeah, Welly Well." I was like, I don't know what the hell Welly Well was. So I went down there and applied, and I got through. Thanks to Fedna. Welly Well. I'm like, what the hell? I said, yo, Negro, get down there. I said, okay. I did what he did. I got me a 40 and went down there and go spoke to him and had my breath all the beer. Oh, yeah, okay. We try to help you. Let's sign you up right now. Had some chicken on my clothes, stained up with some ketchup. I was like, he said, go down
You
like a
had to
bum.
do what you had to do to survive, right? We were in survivor mode, right?
As
Guys, I'm hoping Fed is not in a certain position where he's gonna hear this and say, I didn't tell him this.
my brother was doing what he had to do too. He helped me out.
I guess they needed the rent money and you had to live somewhere, right?
Of course.
You
It
know,
was all it was all good. It was all good, man.
as your boy Dro said, get money for the rent. You need that money.
Mhm.
Got to do what you got to do. You know.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh, that was
Is that something but say, what touch upon my years at Buff State? I just want to reiterate something because it's like I seen like had some sort of diverge the same road that Frank went on because he has some on the road. And that one particular poem I love is from Robert Frost, "The Road Not Taken," and I
uh
could relate to what he was saying. And then he said something about how he read the book of Malcolm X. And I want to say this: when I went to South Shore, I didn't know nothing about no Black history, not taught. It's only until I got to Buff State that I understand about Black history, taking classes with Dr. Beard, and what Frank said that he read the book of that's one book he read, and the one book I read too was Malcolm X. I was just blown away after I read that book in Buffalo. They never showed me that book in high school or anything about Malcolm X. So and there was a class I was taking with Dr. Beard, Caribbean Studies, and he was talking about the Maroons, Jamaica. Never heard about the Maroons. And then he started explaining who the Maroons were and this and that. I'm listening so enthralled. I was like, wow. After I finished from that class, I ran back to my room, got a paid phone call and called my mother in London and ask her, "Do you know anything about the Maroons?" They say, "Yeah, I know about the Maroons. Your grandparents were Maroons." I say, "What?" And it made me feel so proud, to know that history. And I found that all out when I went to Buff State College in terms of Black history, Caribbean history. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, that stuff wasn't taught to us in high school. You know, and just
Oh,
want to reiterate that.
no, and that's good. Good you brought that up because again,
Yeah.
sometimes high school is so structured.
Mhm.
They give you what you need to
Right.
get through, right? And it's unfortunate. They give you what you need to get through. Um,
Uh-huh.
when you get to college, then you kind of now can think on your own. You can do things on your own. You can go in any direction you want to go. So a lot of us learn some of our history there instead of it taught by some of our parents or in high school. So I do understand. I mean, you're right. Frank did say that he read Malcolm X then. I'm wondering if Brother X, not Malcolm X, but Brother X, you know who I'm talking about. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
call, you know, if Trevor X one kind of pushing some of that Brother X on you guys. So and you're a good example of this question because everyone on the group was so different, had different interests and goal and stuff like that. Is there anything common that kind of brought you guys together? Any
Come on. I mean, oh well, the camaraderie, the respect, looking out for each other.
so
Yeah.
that camaraderie that you guys had
Yeah.
uh, from starting there in the summer program because I'm assuming most of you guys I don't know everybody that started in this summer program itself. That was definitely um that was definitely you know a place to be able to make friendship and stuff like that. Let
Right.
me something because brother Trevor X is trying to come in. I don't know if because you mentioned his name or something like that. And soon I'm sure a lot of people are going to want to jump in because you've really invoked their names. You know,
Okay, well, that's good to hear.
but yeah, you're saying that the camaraderie is what really you know um kind of brought you guys together. Those different things that you do in the summer program where you go to certain classes, you go to trips. I'm assuming was it in the summer program that you went to Whispering Pines camping, or you had
It's during the
like,
summer the program. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
okay.
because we got exposed to that early. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because that's when I got the name Rambo. And then once I came back after the semester, everybody's called me Rambo. During the semester, when we all first started out there for that year. Yeah, so it was during that summer program, right? Because they wanted to expose the whole campus life, what they had to offer. Right, exactly.
Let me see if he's sorry because brother X is trying to come on and I'm gonna try and see if I can give him the link, for him to. He's actually on as audience. Yeah, I'm sorry. I kind of got distracted on that. So
That's okay. No, it's okay. But it's funny you said that because another thing, like I said, I came in with a little bit more experience in terms of had a lot bit more years of me. And when I was in the Marine Corps, and it's like in terms of getting to know people, it was a good buddy of mine in the Marine Corps, and we used to talk with each other. And we're like in a situation. We're in a situation um, where if we was to go into combat, who would you go who would you go with or who you think would be there for you? And we used
yeah,
to go through that. And he would always tell me about, in terms of like you have to check somebody's nonverbal communication, verbal communication, and say like, oh, because in the Marines you had some racist kids out there and so forth, even though they hide behind a mask, me and him were like sort of like who will you go in the Foxfield with? Who you go to battle with? Who will be there for you? And so it's like you size up people. So in a way, when I came to Buff State, I was able to size up people, see who they were, if I want to hang with you, if I don't want to hang with you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and definitely that summer program became your foxhole in a sense, right? Where
Right,
it allowed you to know who you can start building a relationship with and trust,
right,
in the long
right.
run. So yeah,
Exactly. And my father always tell me, people you want to hang with, people is going to help get you in life. and you help each other. Rather than people coming there with jealousy and envy and all that. That's the people you need to stay away from, because they're not gonna get you anywhere. They'll only but hold you back.
That is true. I did tell you that I was going to go back to certain things, right? So you
Sure.
you mentioned you mentioned Tennyson earlier. I said I was going to talk. We're going to
Yeah.
invoke Tennyson again later. This is
Mhm.
the moment, right? So again, Tennyson seems to be a common denominator in almost every conversation. Everybody I'm having a conversation with. Uh, he seems to be one of those individuals who you can almost consider the glue to something.
Mhm.
So let's jump into that. So I'm just gonna leave it open first.
Mhm.
Do you want to tell me something you can remember? And this is back in college, right?
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Remember, about Tennyson. What resonated about Tennyson because you know everybody has a different story, and it seems to all be a positive story about Tennyson. You know,
Mhm.
maybe mine when he took me to that party and gave me liquor, wasn't positive because I don't know if I was supposed to be drinking at whatever age I was there, but every college could go through that. But
Yeah, yeah. No, but Mr. Tennyson, he was the one who came up to me and offered his condolences, like I said to you about my cousin who died, because he know my cousin, frankly. And he came to me and offered his condolences. That's like when I sort of first met him.
okay.
Right. That's when I first met him. And we was talking. I said thank you, and we was talking, and he was telling me about how he was a public safety.
Yes.
Right. It's True Tennyson that got me involved with them too, because I joined because he's like, yo, you with the Marines, used to be in the Marines, and you'll be a good candidate to come sign up. And I was like, put some coins in your pocket. I said, okay, fine, why not? I said, yeah, I'll
So,
come do it.
so public safety, well. I'm gonna learn. You were just trying to collect the change, aren't you?
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Excuse me for a second.
Yes.
Savannah, Savannah, you don't want to see her.
And I guess that's what it means to be on a live conversation. So,
I'm sorry.
that's
Hey,
a,
bring
it's
her.
a live conversation. So I guess your daughter didn't hear you mentioning her name, so she had to get your attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm sorry.
All right.
Let me close this.
All right.
I'm sorry.
So no problem. We're gonna go to a quick commercial break for a second. Go ahead and take care of your stuff. Again, this this commercial break. It's not a commercial break. Let's be real. This is life. This is real life. This is unvarnished conversation we're having, right? And these things happen. I don't have the under four budget to have a so I said I was going on commercial break, but this is live. This is unvarnished. I don't I was gonna say I don't have the budget as the under four personalities, so I kind of have to work with what I have. I don't have a director or anything like that. The under four have crew that brings them whatever they need and stuff like that. I don't have that, so I apologize again. So let's continue back with tennis. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, 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 no. This okay. I had to get this under control with the noise. I'm sorry about that. So
So
anyway,
here's a quick question. Sorry. So every now and then I pop up something on the screen. There is a chat going on. Do you see
oh,
those?
yeah, I saw it. Yeah, no, it's a rat budget or something.
Yeah. So
No,
okay. All
yeah,
right.
I see. Yeah.
All right. I just want to share it with you. If one of your brothers are saying certain things, I don't want it to be just me. So I'm sharing when I can. So go
Oh,
ahead.
okay. No. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, and then he said, you could join. And so I signed up with him. And so it's funny because I used to do patrols with him because he was like schooling me and telling me, in terms of what was what. And I tell you, we had some fun times, man. But we would be doing like 12 to like 4 something in the morning or something. Yeah, we was out there and I would be doing patrols with him. And he's just like, I really can't tell you what particular joke because Tennyson was just completely funny, hilarious. He just come with some crazy. What's up with this brother? I'm like, yeah, he did with some crazy analysis of situations. I was like, okay. I said, that makes sense. And like, yeah, it does make sense, doesn't it? I was like, okay. I'm not gonna dispute you, bro. I tell you one thing about Tennyson. He was very, very smart. I was a very smart brother. And I don't know if you want to fast forward, but he lived in my building with me.
Continue.
Because I used to have parties here after I bought my house here in Bed-Stuy. Had parties almost.
I will not invoke Benny Hill on this podcast. I guess if you're old enough, whoever's watching this later, look up Benny Hill. The entire internet may censor that right now, so I will not invoke Benny Hill on this. All right.
Yeah. Yes. Anyway, so I had these parties here after Buff State, but because I bought my house and everything. And I just wanted to show people that, if I could do it, you could do it too. And I invited a whole bunch of people here from Claudel and Trevor. As a matter of fact, I'll give a story about Trevor later. Mr. X. And but yeah, but see, he came here and he was with Lisa and they were looking for a place. And what happened was that I had a place available and they came and they checked out the 3 bedroom, they liked it and everything. So they were here for me for a good while, to help them out and until they got married and they made their own journey. But yeah, but see, the reason why I knew Tennyson, I knew the type of character he was because I do extensive background check, but I don't just say anybody in my building.
Mhm.
Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. No, sir. No, I heard horror stories about that, but I knew Tennyson, you know what I'm saying? He was of caliber, decent, and he's the one who helped me out, and I'm trying to help him out. So yeah, so we were good, you
Yeah,
know?
that's what the brotherhood is all about.
Mhm.
That's kind of what you do, you know, um, in situations like that. You come across people with characters that
Right,
vouch for and characters that that help build, and you help them when you can, you know,
right.
and they'll do the same for you as well.
Mhm. Exactly.
So that I mean that's good, man. Because definitely Tennyson
Yeah.
was a really good brother.
Yeah, and I just want to add too, in terms of when I found out that he had passed, it was Fedna, by the way, that sent me a text message because I was driving that morning. And I get a text message from Fedna, and it says, "I just want to let you know Tennyson passed." I'm like, I'm driving. I'm looking at it, driving at the same time. I'm like, looking at this, like, well, I was like, I had an out of body experience
Yeah,
when, when I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, and I tried to call him back to like get some deal, but he couldn't talk because he was
can
at work. Like he
yeah,
just, but it's like that initial when I just saw it and read it, I just couldn't believe for the life of me. And it's like my whole body just dropped. Like, really? And then later on I spoke with Claudel and he told me, that everything for what happened and everything. Yeah, so just wanted to add that in.
no, 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 definitely. And I'm glad you had that memory of him because he was definitely a good brother. And it's just me. Sometimes I don't like referring to people as was, even though
Yeah.
they're here because their
Yeah.
spirit
Yeah.
still with us. They're the things that they shared with us and taught us or within their kids
Mhm.
still resonates. So, using the past is like, for me personally, it's no
Yeah.
longer here. So that's the thing about that. But yeah, definitely thank you for diving into that conversation with Tennyson about Tennyson because that's one of the reason why we still right have this conversations we have these meetings on days and because he was the one who would send you. I don't know if you used to receive. I was kind of a latecomer where he would send out those Tuesday jokes.
Mhm. I
I,
heard about him. I heard about him.
I got a few of them, and he was hilarious.
Yeah, I didn't know, but I heard about him.
Since we're sharing the story, I mean, Tennyson is kind of crazy because when Trevor was getting married,
Mhm.
on me, and he's like, "So where's the party or where's the bachelor party, whatever?" I was like, "I'm not sure." He's like, "Yo, let's go kidnap him." So it was just funny like that. He's like,
Yeah, yeah.
"It's all right. We'll kidnap him. We'll just go somewhere." And I'm like, "I don't think we can get room before he's wedded."
Right, exactly.
So that was crazy. Um, so let's just pivot a little bit, right? I kind of want to explore some of your professional journey. You did mention that you've worked in the health field, for a while and stuff like that. So let's kind of talk about that a little bit because you mentioned politics and you mentioned health. Let's start with you could have became our president. Oh no, sorry, you weren't born here. But you could have been the runner up for president if you stayed in politics, right? Or
Yeah.
you could have been on the the health minister. Look who
Mhm.
we look who we have running that part of it, right now. So you could have been in the running for it. So let's talk about why you wanted to go into politics a little bit and then pivot.
Yeah, well, I went in there initially, I wasn't too sure of the major I wanted to do, so I just gravitated to politics and everything, and then I did an internship in Albany, and I was working for Senator Marty Marquez. I don't know if you heard about him.
Markowitz.
Yeah, anyway, he was a clown because, he's the one that sort of and then I got disengaged with politics because when I was living in Albany, I did a whole internship up there, and it was like, you got to see what this thing is all about with politics. Like Malcolm X said, it's all a bunch of politics. You go to these, like, trying to get your next meal for the night, and you go to all these lobbyist parties. You have like the bankers, real estate people, and they having hors d'oeuvres, open bars, and everything, this and that, right? And then you go to like another function where nonprofit organization, and they're just serving tea and crackers and all that. So you saw the whole sort of like, wait a minute, this whole disparity that's going on here, but they're trying to push legislation, in order to favor them and, to help get passed and benefits the people who they're serving and the constituents. And it goes from the bankers, it goes for real estate, and it goes for basic nonprofit people. And it's just like, wow, you saw the disparity. And it's like, I didn't like it because it's just like, and then dealing with Marty Marquez, I don't know if you know, he used to have this thing in Brooklyn where he wasn't a lawyer like the other politicians were. So that's how he made his money. He was like a promoter. I give to that. He had like from Earth, Wind and Fire. I don't know if he heard about. He's constantly having Wingate Park, and then have him in Coney Island.
That's
And
him who did those concerts.
yeah, he was the one to put all those concerts, had all those big name artists come out there in the whole nine yards. And he was doing that. And then he was trying, and then something he did I didn't like. He was trying to get Stephanie Mills, but he was trying to work through the mother, and he had all these, ooh, he had all these white senators up in there, and he's making up these jokes with the mother and the whole nine yards, and they're laughing and cackling. That just like, it's like, wow, this is like
that
crazy.
that turned you off.
Yeah, I mean the whole shabam, and then I wanted like to be a lobbyist when I when I left
Yeah.
I left to be a lobbyist, but then I thought that was kinda sleazy. It's like, "No, I don't wanna get in that." So as a matter of fact, after I graduated from Buff State, I was looking to say, join the FBI, right? To go down to Quantico and the whole 9 yards. So I applied and everything, and then I was speaking to the lady on the phone, and she's telling me something. Well, I just purchased my house, and she's telling me, "Well, if you decide you wanna join after we start talking for a while," she's like, "Well, you have to be willing to move, so they could send you to any of the 50 states." And then that's kinda threw me off. I was like, "I don't wanna, like, buy this house and then have to move and not be here to look after it." So, I put that out. So then I said, "Okay, I need a job." So I did security for a minute. So I ended up working up the Metrotech. That is the hub right now for all those buildings in downtown Brooklyn. I don't know if you've been down there, but that building was the mecca of all the buildings that followed behind it. And then what happened? I saw a notice to join the Department of Health, the TB section, and I prefer to do that, helping people, whatever. And so I signed up. I got through, passed the test. And so I kept two jobs, my security job and working for the Department of Health, because I was able to do both of them at the same time. And then eventually I ended up working in the towers.
Okay.
Yeah, in the Mitsubishi towers. But I left, at least that happened September 11. I left like around July. I left. Praise God. Yeah, I left. Yeah, because I didn't really need to do that no more because I had my house and everything. So I had like other income coming in. So I left that job. and I've been with the Department of Health ever since, and I love it. I enjoy it. I'm my I'm my own boss basically, and I run my own show. And they gave me a company car too, official car. So I'm doing my thing, yo.
I think I need to call you up for a job. And but that's cool though.
Mm,
Let's see. That's I mean politics, you didn't want to do that. You went to the health department and found your calling.
yeah,
So
exactly.
that's definitely
Hmm.
politics. I guess back then, if somebody gets into it, then they don't mind doing some of that stuff. So you already had the morals that we see people today don't have.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't deal with that type of thing and stuff like that the way the person that you were shadowing in a sense, kind of did things.
Hmm.
'Cause most people would love to be there and see politics as I'm definitely going to be in this line of work and just continue going on there just because of some of the I guess I can't compare it then to now. And I think what I was trying to get at is the way things are happening now versus then, right? Because I'm comparing it to what President Musk is doing today. Oh, I forgot I wasn't going to bring up politics to you, but I'm comparing it to what President Musk, is doing today versus what other politicians did back then.
They're doing the same thing. Ain't no change. They do the same thing back then they do today. They're just looking out for themselves and think about how best to make money and and keep it moving. I mean, come on, this is like it's a very dirty game, very dirty, and sinister. Backstabbing. We promise you one thing and they go turn your back on you. They can't deliver that. They got to go with their campaign for money in order to raise, to run for campaign. It's just a sinister, dirty game. It's like I just wasn't my cup of tea.
I hear you. I hear
Wasn't
you.
my cup. Like Malcolm X said, it's all about your politics.
Politics.
Yeah, this is it. That's the perfect name for it. Politics.
I mean, that definitely was, an interesting career journey.
Yeah, the road. Like I said, but said the book. Like I said, my favorite poet, Robert Frost. The road not taken, so I didn't take that road.
And again, that road, it's going to be different for everyone, right? Most people are going to actually travel a different road to get to where, they need to.
Hmm.
We all travel in different roads. I can tell you my road I travel, but this is not my story. This is your story.
Yeah, I hear you.
But, the roads are different.
Hmm.
And
Yes,
I,
sir.
I came back here and I actually worked in a place where I was sweeping floors just to get
Hmm.
people job at when they had a strike, the union strike, and I was working at where's this place? Someplace in Brooklyn, this country called Brooklyn. I was working there, and I worked there for a few months, and then the boss said, "Man, you have education like that. You can be my boss." I'm like, "I'm here for a reason, so I'm going to do what I did, what I'm here to do, and leave." So you're right. It may not be a straight line, but
Hmm.
you did what you had to do.
Yeah. Hmm.
All right, so let's see where we go from here now. We talked about Tennyson already. I'm sorry, terrible host.
You're a
Because
good host, Radcliffe. You're doing a good job, brother. You're doing a good job.
I'm going to tell you why I said I'm a terrible host because I was about to say something and my mind started going to bird watching and and folks, for those of you who don't know what bird watching is, it's from another conversation we're having where our friend went to, is it Prospect Park or Central Park, to do bird watching with a friend, and at the same time went to a Cat Williams show. So that's where my mind went. So that's why I mentioned bird watching.
Yeah.
So I know. So we touch on a lot of things, and you're trying to see how to say this because I want to really you know um represent it well, right? Your kids are your hall, right? You're the reason why you are who you are today, right?
Right.
Do you wanna give a little bit of shout out to your kids? Because I know everything you do, you know, is all about your kids, right? And we try not to bring kids into this, and we're not gonna mention their names or anything like that, but if we're talking about you, it's hard to separate you from, what really makes you up, right? So there was the Rambo, there is the Tony London, and then there's a Rambo the father. Rambo.
Mhm.
So give you a minute or two to kind of if you want to make mention of them for a little bit.
Oh yeah, no problem. They're a pain in my ass, but I love them. I don't know what I do without them. No, no. Yeah, those are no, I keep it real. I keep it real. Anyway, just listen. We all have situations when, especially my older son, we be fighting and tugging and this and that, trying to get him to do what he need to start doing.
Yeah.
Oh my God! But he's coming around. He's coming around. He's coming around.
That's kids, though, right? Kids are
Yeah,
gonna.
exactly, exactly. So, because I put it like me and my wife, we're separated and everything. So they stay the weekends with me. They stay with other weekdays. So I let them come here, have their freedom, and just enjoy themselves, just be kids. She's more disciplinarian. I'm more like the more laid back. It's okay, but um, don't mess with me. If I tell you to do something, do it. At the same time. As a matter of fact, me and my daughter's out here for a minute. We was watching Do the Right Thing yesterday. The Spike Lee joint, Do the Right Thing yesterday, and she was out there watching me. I mean, she didn't watch the whole thing, but and I like to play music when they're here, whether it be classical, jazz, just some old school, and we're all in the house and the music is playing. I want them to hear that music from classicals to jazz. Yeah, even if it's soft rock, from Queen. I just want them to listen to music. I
Yeah.
have a here and I got the booming situation on YouTube, and it's just like, I just want to listen to music, just culture them, and then um, give them books to read, eventually, about Malcolm X, and teach them their history. And as a matter of fact, I was supposed to take them down to the African American Museum in Washington D.C., but that's another whole nother story. To expose them to that, you know.
That's good, man. It's definitely a love for the kids that makes you want to do those type of things and stuff like that. So that is absolutely wonderful. Um, so
And
we're
another thing I'm big on too is taking them out the country to go take them on trips. So they've been on a couple of trips, from Hawaii, Jamaica, Martha Vineyards, going places. Jamaica, went
I
to
know
Jamaica.
I know you want to get to some other places as well, like you talked about,
Yeah,
Bora Bora or something like that.
yeah, Bora Bora.
So we're getting close to that time where we probably will get, let me say, our space will be invaded in a minute.
Okay.
Your brothers are going to be jumping in. So I just want to warn you. I want to give you, forewarning about that.
Oh, appreciate it.
So, you've been with the health department for a while, and I know you talked about retirement and stuff like that. I'm going to give you a minute or two to talk about what next. For you, what's next for you? You know, Retirement is next year or whenever the year is, whenever you call it.
Yeah.
And then for us, it's not sitting on our butts and stuff like that. What's next?
Well, what's next is that yeah, I'm looking to retire. I'm looking to probably retire next year. Right now, I want to get my basement fixed up. I'm thinking about probably moving out of New York. Well, not moving out of New York. Probably moving upstate to like Hudson Valley because I like hiking. I like nature, and I like to be out there. But I'm still going to keep the
Get
place
back to
here.
get back to Rambo, right? You want to get back to Rambo, the hiking, and I'm
Yeah,
I'm I'm
yeah, 'cause I just like nature. I just like nature. Me and nature connect. Just like that peace and serenity. I'm getting older, but I don't look older, and I just like serenity. Peacefulness, and just the quietness, and this like sometimes you just get tired of New York City, but I don't want to give my whole place because this is for my kids, and like I said, I want to get that basement fixed up, and then the apartment where I'm at right now, I rent this out. Once I rent this out, it's gonna be a go. So we good. So I'm looking to like probably get like a 3-bedroom condo for my kids when they come visit me. Up in Hudson Valley, so it's like about an hour away. So it's not like I'm far. So if I need to get back here to check on stuff or whatever, because they got this new building over here. They got 108 apartments, and the parking is going to be terrible. And I don't have no driveway over here, and I don't need to be dealing with that nonsense. So
I
I'm
hear.
just thinking ahead.
So
But I
just
love the neighborhood.
you know,
Love the neighborhood.
I hear, and again, the country of Brooklyn is a really nice place. So I understand, why you
Mhm.
made it and stuff like that. Just to let
Yeah,
you know, I think AI took over my session, and your
yeah.
brother. I was trying to decline their, you know, they're coming in, and they just took over. So A1 Sauce took over.
Yeah, but listen though, I just want to add one thing now that I see Trevor there. I got to give Trevor thank you because Trevor came to some of my parties here. He knows what I'm talking about, right? And it was Trevor who pointed out to me in my front yard, I was going to concrete it up. And Trevor was the one that said, "Don't do that. You should put some trees down there, plants down there, whatever." Thank God I listened to what he told me, and I did that. So ever since then, I've been putting stuff, azaleas down there, they die. I put tulips down there, they die. And then I had to study the situation. Like I said, I'm like nature. I had to study the sun, and I'm thinking like, wait a minute, I'm not getting hardly any sun over here. So I went to somebody's house, right, and they had these big elephant ears, right. And I said, what are those? They said elephant ears. I said, really? And I started reading up on them, and then come to find out, they don't need a lot of sun, right. They at least half the sun. They don't need a lot of sun. So then I started planting them in my front yard. Now like the conversational piece every year, is like I get to talk to people, and they admire them because they just grow humongous. And
Oh,
it's like, but I want to thank Trevor for that because I was going to put concrete and he was the one to tell me, no, put some plants down. I finally figured the plants I needed to put down there. After a couple of years studying the sun and the whole 9 yards, I realized across the street they get sun, but on my side they didn't. And elephant ears don't need a lot of
we're taking a short break, but the conversation doesn't have to stop here. We invite you to join our guest for some casual chat and banter. Share your thoughts, ask questions, or just enjoy the moment. Let's make this a lively and engaging exchange. See you in a few.
sun. So thank you, Trevor.
So,
Appreciate
can,
it.
can we give it up for HGTV Trev?
Yeah, welcome, Trev, and on the four, podcast. Thanks, Mother Chef, for joining.
Yes, yes.
Trev, just a quick thing. Were you able to send the link to? Because I don't know if
Yes,
Pedro wanted to jump in,
I
and
sent,
Frank, I didn't send
I
it to.
sent it an email.
Okay,
I sent it like to the bar email group.
okay, cool. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yep. Tony, you don't have to worry about that email. You're the honorable guest right now.
Thank you.
Listen, I can drop everybody else except I can't drop you,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yes, sir.
Worry about the link, So
Can I say something?
please go ahead.
Listen, I'm changing I'm no longer calling you Rambo. No longer. Because now to me, you will forever be Tony London. Because when I hear that name, I'm thinking of an R&B singer. That's my man Tony London. You know what?
It's a good one.
That definitely was a good one. Like, where's that coming from? But yeah, Tony London.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a good one though. That was a good one.
You know that
yeah,
that's like Tony is Jamaican because they're the only one to start throwing on these type of things on your name, Tony London, Margaret, all of those type of
But
things.
but
yeah, right.
hey, Tony London, listen.
Yes, sir.
I think I told this story during my interview about you and I riding bikes down to the damn Icon Club the one night and not
Yeah,
not realizing we had to ride them shits back
yeah,
afterwards.
After
yeah,
kind of difficult to ride a bike, right?
Especially when you've been drinking.
yeah, right.
We ride from all the way downtown. It was like, what the hell were we
Oh,
thinking?
yeah, right.
But we had some good times though.
Yes, sir.
Hanging out with Sue Howard and
Sue Howard. Yeah,
I remember we was at I think we had it was my birthday one year my wife, my fiance girlfriend at the time, threw me a surprise party at the house, and everything. So we end up going to Good Bar afterwards
On Elmwood.
on Elmwood, and we had the damn flaming Dr. Peppers.
Dr. Peppers.
Brother Tito, you're echoing.
What
Hey,
up?
good evening.
What up,
Hey,
T?
Good
Rambo,
evening.
ask you, is Marty Markowitz still alive?
Second, Trev, I think I'm getting a major echo, so I'm not sure who it's coming from.
Yeah.
It's coming from me. I had it on the Bluetooth speakers talking to you initially, but now
Go ahead.
everybody
Just,
in.
again, just to make sure. Tito.
Okay.
Yes, Rick. Hey
Okay,
guys, I
good.
just want to let you guys know I'm not gonna be on long. My wife and daughter they got here earlier, so we've been running around all day.
Nice.
And,
Well,
we're gonna
it's
be
good.
doing
It's
some
good
stuff.
to see you. Good to see you. Wanted to jump in and and say something about brother Sorry, Tony London.
Tony,
missed it. I missed-
it's brother Tony London.
London. I'm sorry, man.
Tony London.
Yeah.
Tony England.
Tony England. Yeah, I wish. I know it was quite entertaining because Tony is such an interviewee rather. He has a lot of information to give.
Listen. Are they in the room with you, Tito?
Not yet.
Okay, I was just saying,
'Cause I know us.
he being all PC right now.
You got to, bro. I know us.
Rambo, is Marty Markowitz still alive?
Yeah, he down in Florida living off the money he stole.
What?
Yeah, messing with the interns that he met. That was in my class, so he all right. Yeah, he in
Yeah.
Florida.
He said living
Yeah.
off the money he stole.
I've seen him a few times in Flatbush.
Yeah, he be hanging out in juniors.
Not like in Flatbush. He used to be around. He used to come around like just like, because he was like a regular dude that used to walk around
Yeah.
Flatbush Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Daddy?
He's putting on his makeup. Give him some time. Hi, Deidre.
You're being recorded.
Hey, you got jokes.
They got you on the recording.
But see, I'm glad it was recorded so that he can't say somebody said it. I don't know who, but somebody said it.
I'm to Brooklyn, son. I can drive to Brooklyn.
I can't blame on the four.
Yeah, you can't blame on the 4 this time.
That's funny.
Hey, Joe.
But he did text me the question to ask.
Gentlemen, let me chit chat with you guys later.
All right.
thank you.
Talk later.
Yeah, what's
Peace.
up,
Love you
man?
guys.
So
I will.
them family, man.
Deidre said hi. Trevor and the guys said hello.
Hello.
Ook,
Hello.
Rambo,
Yes, hello.
Chev, Rick, everybody.
Hey, Deidre.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
Man,
All right, fellas.
I was trying to keep this session incognito so nobody knew exactly when I was doing it. Now I can't say,
Too late.
now everybody knows when.
Yeah, too late for that now. Yo, I'll talk to y'all fellas later.
All right.
All
man.
right, Rick Ross, I'll see you later. Yeah. Right. You're right, Chev. The tape's gonna say who said it from who didn't say it.
Yeah.
Look, I just want to jump on real quick. Yeah, it was a good interview, man. I missed Frank's. I was at the barbershop, so I missed Frank's his entire interview. I missed that.
Frank was happy no one jumped in, especially, Dave, because
Wow.
his interview would have gone off a different direction. It would have been perplexed.
So,
Right.
Wycliffe, so we be able to see these interviews with other people?
Yes. They're coming soon.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I will make sure, everyone gets a viewing session, so they can see it.
Into a bird watching station near you, Tony London.
Yeah, that's to me that's the greatest nickname now, Tony London.
We need to make a shirt for his ass with that. I think
Rambo-
you start a clothing line with that, Tony.
Huh?
You need a clothing line, Tony
No,
London.
no, they got a Tony London out there. Don't this chef, the singer, Tony London?
Nope.
Ain't no Tony London yet.
No,
that's a different
it was
dude.
Tony Rich.
October London, I think it is, or something
October
like
London.
that. October.
Let's put it right now on this that everybody will see. He's gonna trademark that name. So make sure you say Tony London. That is you, no one else.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Tony
Gotcha.
London, how many pairs of Clarks you got? Yeah, I knew you had at least one.
Wallabies.
So, question, and I think I asked Frank on a different conversation. Were you at the infamous address on Forest as well? Did you ever walk through the Forest apartment or house?
I think so. I wasn't really out there like that though, because I was checking out the other ladies of Buffalo, so I didn't make it.
Wait. He was
Jesus.
checking out who?
He said it. He's the interviewee. All right.
I'm like, check.
He was
Okay.
checking out. It was bird watching.
Yeah,
He was
so-
bird watching.
He was bird watching for real.
Why is this camera so fuzzy? Why is Rambo's camera so fuzzy?
I don't know,
yeah, I
right?
don't know. I'm trying to work it up.
Earlier, but I think I'm seeing it much clearer now. So it might be you guys coming on because this camera is it's a 1020.
Nah, he fuzzy.
It's got
No.
Rambo.
It'll
480.
clear up when
You
it
got 480p.
Yeah, when it uploads it, it will get better.
I got Department of Health Wi-Fi. Tony, I need.
Is that the well Wi-Fi?
No, sir. I got the upgrade one, man. It's an Optimum. What they gave me? One something?
Listen, Optimum is not paying for it.
I look fuzzy and dirty.
No, Tony look dirty.
You look kind of fuzzy too, Trev.
Nah, son, I'm mad clear. I'm just
That's what I was about to say. Just dark.
Is that figuratively or literally?
both.
It could go both ways is what I'm saying.
Trev needs some of that sun that Rambo was talking about from the other side of the street.
Radcliffe.
There's a few questions in the chat that weren't answered. Uki wants to know what's your favorite jazz artist or group?
Well, yeah.
Well,
That's for you, Tony.
Yeah, Tony.
Tony
What's
London.
called?
who's my favorite jazz artist?
Or group.
Yeah. Somebody said Kenny G. I was like, nah, not Tony.
Kenny G.
Well, no, I say Public Enemy and
Jazz.
That's
Jazz.
jazz.
me and
London, what's in the cup?
Yo.
He's not
I like
drinking it.
Oh, I see you said
I like 50 Cent myself.
his latest jazz album was off the hooks.
who? Whose album?
1,000.
50
55
Cent got a jazz album. Oh my goodness.
50
In
Cent
the flow, right?
in the club.
You guys are forgetting that he said he was
We
going to
are
vote
fam.
rehab to check out his ear.
It's got to be Kenny G.
Yeah.
You're killing me, Tony.
I like Craig Mack too.
Yeah.
But that's a great jazz artist.
You ain't
That's
no
not
way
jazz.
Oh,
near
that's funny, man. This
the
is
genre.
Top jazz, NWA, son.
Yeah. All right, let me switch the question.
Cypress
What's
Hill.
your favorite hip hop?
X-Clan.
What's your favorite hip hop artist or favorite group?
Lord, what you gonna say now?
Now you're gonna give me some.
Trade. Dizzy Gillespie.
Chubba Runs. Yeah, come on, London.
Oh, it's funny.
Tony, you the best, son.
Thank you.
Hey, Radcliffe, you didn't ask him about where he was at that famous night of the Hoyt Street conflict.
I refuse to incriminate anyone. So are you asking the question now? He's right here in front of you. You're
Yo, when is Pay and when
We know he gonna say he was watching the birds. That's more important.
That's why I know it's Kenny G.
Party.
A bird watching black man? Come on, son. Them was rare.
We need a
I'm surprised he had manga.
the White Street Party. That was.
Surprised he had a Trump supporter.
Oh, you're funny.
I hear you.
You're funny.
The Hoyt Street Party. I don't think I was there.
We
The
were
Hoyt Street
watching
Party?
birds.
the riot. That's what he said, not party. Riot.
Right. Hoyt
I didn't
Street?
say no riot. I said the conflict.
Conflict.
That's what I heard.
Remember Sue's party, Tony? That a bunch of people got snatched? All right.
We know for sure that Rambo wasn't there because if Sue was being thrown downstairs, Rambo would have taken out somebody.
I don't think I was there. Man, I was arrested for some other bullshit. Though. That's my arrested for something else, though. Man.
You got arrested for something else.
He was out in Cheektowaga that day. You were at the Vermilion Room.
Hmm?
You were at the Vermilion Room that night.
Somewhere.
Y'all funny. Y'all funny.
Yeah, I don't think so. I remember when Sue was here and with Dave
Before
and we
Dave
went to the comedy
peed on
club
them
and they
in
talked
the
about it.
driveway.
Yeah. And then Victor was there because they said Victor Warner started the whole thing. Something
Oh,
because he argued
God.
with some
Wait.
next door.
Yeah, wait a second. That's
Hey,
some new
statute of
insight.
limitation. There's new information.
Arguing with somebody next door or something, and that's how it all escalated. Some kind of craziness.
So
Crazy.
That's some new.
Vic is not here
See how Uki's getting re-traumatized by this.
man, I don't
That's
know.
some new insight to the story.
That's some new information from Tony from London.
Or you were impacted by that. Is that true that Vic started this whole thing?
What you talking?
Wait, who are you asking the question?
Yeah, he's talking to me. He's like me.
Who are you talking to?
Pedro.
Listen, Tony London threw out Vic's name. I'm trying to say,
Yo, this is how people get locked up, because if Tony wasn't there, where did he get that information from?
I mean, Sue was there, so she said something about whatever. So that's I don't know the full story, but
Whatever.
This is what I'm gonna tell you, right? This is what I'm gonna tell you. I'm not saying any names. Apparently,
It's too late.
Someone with I don't know who. Somebody was urinating on the side of somebody's house. Apparently,
A friend
I
of
don't know who
somebody.
it was. So I don't know who it was. I
It was
just
a
know
light-skinned guy.
I was upstairs. I don't know. It was dark, and I know the cops came upstairs, lady cop upstairs, and then the cops rode up there, and they grabbed Sue Howard,
and she
they
went
started
tumbling.
to drag her, and I said, what you doing? And that was it.
Clank,
Watch
clank.
your last name. Watch your last names.
Word. Once I asked the question, man, that was it. And I'm like, you what's the reason why you dragging her down the stairs like that?
And
then
they
they just
said,
started dragging everybody.
Then he grabbed you.
We'll show you why.
Word. You want to
They were like, stop resisting.
Sleep?
You want to resist?
Crazy. But the crazy thing is, man, I can't wait to see Claudell's in it when you interview Claudell.
Listen, is that brother in Mexico right now?
Yeah.
Isla de Mujeres.
I know
where?
we were
The island of
I
the
love
women.
you know what? It was a lot of support for people that were arrested, man. People came down to the jailhouse, you know what I mean? They didn't just let us go down there. A lot of people came down there, man. It was like,
I have a question. Because my mind works differently, right? You invoke him and then you said arrest after. Are you trying to tie it together? That's just how
no, Clint, I'm just saying, what I'm tying together is he came down. He was one of the people who came down there, like, to look as to show support. You know what I mean? He came down there like, making sure everything was all right, man. I was like, I remember seeing him. Matter of fact, another brother that's not with us anymore, Kenny Triplett. You know what I mean? I remember him. He was I think has everybody on the call been arrested? I mean,
I'm the interviewer, so I can't answer any question.
I mean, illegally. I mean, because everything was thrown out. There was no charges pressed. I mean, that's how bogus it was. It was thrown out. You know what I mean?
Dismiss.
Yeah.
I see Chev over there banging on a tambourine.
No, that's not me. I'm banging on a wooden stick.
Yeah, you're good. Them days are done, son.
I know we all black, but we don't all look alike.
That's how you thought it was 100%.
Chev's like, how dare you?
No, I did not say that.
Hey, that's a good thing, man.
You're good.
We're stereotyping us.
That's right. It's a good experience to go through. That's right. I can
Which one of y'all been in the joint?
Yo,
Okay.
I can speak.
Are you being racist, Uki?
Of course.
Because are you being racist?
Of course. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Somebody. Well, I know this. I think everybody has
Now,
been.
I can say I've been to the police station.
I can say I can say we've conversated with
by the
police
police.
officers.
Now, we've had conversations.
Yeah,
I've never tested the bracelets though, but I've had.
You got the drive along,
hey,
Chev.
you saw the steal. You saw the steal, son. You saw the steal.
I saw the steal.
You saw the steal. Crazy.
So Rambo, you see why I didn't let these brothers in earlier.
Yeah.
They would tore up your interview. They would tore up your conversation. And this is why, I was like, I'm not even looking over on the chat. I'm not even, because they're trying to figure out your jazz, favorite artists, and you're now 50 Cent and stuff like that.
I ain't from no 50 Cent.
No, he said
He said, I
He
didn't
said
say
Public
he
nothing
said
Enemy.
about no.
Public
He said
Enemy.
25.
He's Public Enemy.
Ooh, Flavor Flav.
Chuck, Minister X. Chuck did Minister X.
He get a point for knowing his name.
Yo, you get, at least you said Public Enemy. I'll take that.
It's a music group. Half a point.
True.
Well, you didn't say genre, right? You didn't say genre.
No,
I
they
said
asked jazz artists in group.
Question was, what's
That-
your favorite jazz artist?
Hey?
That was
Hey, I
see,
think
there we go.
you didn't get at him like they do at Jeopardy. That's why he went to that. The proper answer is
But remember,
We still waiting though. That's the whole thing.
he ain't thinking about it.
let me preface this by saying this, right? Let me preface this by saying this. Remember, Rambo knows a lot of people, so they could have been playing, singing jazz in his basement, and that's kind of what he remembered. So that's why he said,
Oh, you mixing them up.
Also,
Public
so
Enemy.
Chuck D was spitting some jazz rhymes on you.
Oh, man.
Yo, I got
Yeah.
I gotta get. Let me get out of here. Yo, before I go, listen, Rag, great interview, man. Your Frank is off the hook, but great interview. Tony, great interview, man.
Thank you, sir.
Very good. I appreciate that, man. That was very. That
You
was
did
good.
your radio?
Thank you for chiming in.
Yeah, I was the guinea pig, man.
Oh, you did the interview already?
Yeah, I was the guinea pig, man.
I haven't missed it.
Yeah, you weren't a guinea pig, all right?
Okay,
You were the trailblazer.
Okay,
That's what I'm.
trailblazer. That's what happens.
You didn't get an audience, right? Oh,
No, I didn't get the audience. It was just a one-on-one. It was just a straight up one-on-one. That's what I'm talking about, Rad. One-on-one.
yeah,
Me
you
and
were
Rad. Me and Rad.
Yeah, he was the trailblazer that went overtime.
Yeah, somebody be. I had no interview. I had no audience, son. I had to make up some time.
Frank is in the now, right? Frank over.
I'm about to say somebody broke the record, son. I know somebody.
Frank went.
Yes, he did. I'm not gonna compare anything. Again, I want the conversation, so I'm not gonna try and say who went longer, because again, when Pay comes along, he may feel intimidated or something and say, "Let me go. Is it 59 minutes yet? Let me cut off now." I'm not trying to do that. So
I'm sure I'm not the last one, Mr. Williams.
your time will be whatever time you want. I'm here for you.
Yes, beautiful. That's beautiful.
We all gonna be there for you.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
right. I'm gonna pick 9 o'clock, and I know some people will fall off.
Not in this group. We up early in the morning, man. We up early.
Word, you know.
Shep, I didn't say 9.
Hey, well, some of us in this group, we up late.
Oh,
Hey, man, some of us are always watching the birds, no matter what.
It's silly.
So with that, Ook,
I'll
just
see you
remember,
guys.
I'm gonna stop the recording, because I don't want anybody to think that they're going over, because I don't want to disconnect Ook and don't get your recording. So I'm now, right?
Right.
So just bear with me for a second.
Shut him down. Shut him.